Now you have U.S. senators talking about who notice his bulge. I don't actually like hate anybody really, like, but like, don't tell me I can't make fun of obvious, make funnable shit with you.
A lot of it seems to come out of Christian values where it's like, hate the sinner, not the sin. But with liberals and leftists, it kind of seems to be hate the sinner and hate the sin and hate everybody that they're friends with and everybody who's similar to them, just to make sure that you fully hated all the way down to bedrock. And then if they change all of their ways, you can tolerate them from a distance. Do you have any gay friends?
The gay friends that I have had historically, like I would give them shit, they would give me shit, and like that would be fine. We are now identifying as a class, as a collective, based in X identity. And if you do not agree with the characteristics of that identity, then you hate me as a part of it.
The day that my mom stops trying to talk to me about religion, I'm going to be really upset because I'm going to go, fuck, my mom's not trying to save me anymore.
It's as like a weird protest, a weird resentful protest to traditional relationships. And that's why the people who end up doing it always look like they're like rebelling against like God and society and stuff, is because it's a form of rebellion against the standard. Fuck the Civil Rights Act, repeal it yesterday, I don't care, ooga booga.
Hi everybody, this is Womptavious DeMarcus to Tom Robinson Jr. Does that work for you?
That's perfect. Do you have any gay friends? I have to ask.
Yeah, I've had plenty of gay friends.
This is fucking past tense.
I don't
bro.
really. I'm trying. Yeah, I've had it was different when I was coming up. Like we had a gay friend, but like any friends that I was with, I don't actually like hate anybody really. Like, but like, don't tell me I can't make fun of obvious, make funnable shit with you. And like, yeah, the gay friends that I have had historically, like I would give them shit, they would give me shit, and like that would be fine. Because I find people can have more camaraderie with that. Like any of my racially ambiguous friends, like any of my ethnic friends, like of course I'm gonna make fun of you for being different than me, and I expect you to do the same. I would feel weird if they didn't do the same to me.
Yeah, so, exactly. It's really funny, like the meme that's like what's anti-racist friend group, and it's all white people, and then it's like racist friend group, and then it's like somebody from every like color and class and sexuality. Like my best friend, since we were 6 years old, I knew he was gay when we were 6 years old, when I didn't know what being gay was, and I was like, something's different here. It's really funny because like I could make fun of him, but if other people made fun of him, I was like, don't do that. You got to fucking chill.
Yeah. Well, I think I made a video about this before, but like conservatives, I think do like people better in day-to-day practice, and actually have more of a tolerance for people that are different in a day-to-day way, like in a communal, local way. Right. Liberals have more of an outward, like abstracted affinity for people that are different, but then in their day-to-day life, like they actually do require people to be much more similar to them in this weird way.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like there is a bit more. When it's funny too, because it seems to, a lot of it seems to come out of like Christian values, where it's like, the whole thing like, oh, I hate the sinner, not the sin. But with liberals and leftists, it kind of seems to be hate the sinner and hate the sin and hate everybody that they're friends with and everybody who's similar to them, just to make sure that you fully hated all the way down to bedrock. And then if they change all of their ways, you can tolerate them from a distance.
Yeah, it's almost exactly inverted in a weird way for a lot of these people. Like that, you could not attain forgiveness for certain things. Like and like, okay, the queer theory, critical race theory, even like kind of, they're all offshoots of Marxist thinking, where a lot of people believe one group because they hold certain social power, or because their group has committed certain sins in the past, they have to now work for like collective redemption, and then they just kind of sit there and like hold it in front of your face. And that's what happened with racism in this country. Like I think a lot of white people came around to the idea of like, okay, like let's remove our in-group preference, let's not do things that are microaggressive to people or whatever, and then it just kept going, and it was like this unforgivable power grab thing. And then everyone went, fuck it. Okay, like we're just going to hold the same standard, and now you're going to get mad at that, and then nobody cares. So it's weird.
That's the thing, is people are willing to like, and this only happens to white people because of white guilt. Like white people will progressively kind of like let themselves get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. I mean, there was a fucking there's a video in the UK within the last week of some Muslim imam like singing Muslim hymns in a church before they began their service. That's never going to happen in a Muslim like mosque. You know, there's never going to be there's never going to be some white pastor who's like, yeah, well, I know you guys have this, you've got this Allah guy, but well, so it's really weird because like white people just kind of keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And I think it's, but anyway, something I was going to say a little bit ago, about where you said, there's like no way to get back. Someone just posted a thing a couple days ago where they put, being gay is a sickness. It's not normal to be sexually attracted to the same gender. It's low DHT, hypothyroidism, and gut issues. I responded to that and I said, people believe this as a concept, but not as a reality. It's incredibly rare that somebody becomes straight and is accepted as straight after. There's a permanent stain of gay that's put onto them by their judges, in the same way that there's a permanent stain of put onto religious converts such as Nala. Someone who overcomes the flu isn't seen as a flu haver. Someone who was insert sexuality, dysphoria, etc., will almost always be viewed as that, usually by people on the Christian right. If you believe this, then you have to accept the theoretical. Then you have to accept a theoretical off ramp to go along with it. Otherwise, it's just hate for hatred's sake. People need a way back, or they dig their whole. Oh God, there's a massive typo there. You either accept that people can change or you don't. But it's your life. It's your judgment. Who cares what I think?
Yeah, no, I like that. I think you need to hold both, right? The most important thing that you can do is hold the sinner-sin distinction and not.
Yep.
And yeah, accept people back with grace. Like you can be strict about the law. You can stand on what you believe to be right and have an honest conversation about that. And the problem, though, is the distinction between the sin and the sinner was something that was eviscerated by the left initially. If you hate what I do, then you hate me. And then a lot of people went, all right, fuck it, I hate you. Because if my options are either hate you or accept that it's good, then I'm going to just be like, okay, I hate you. Right? So it's this weird thing. So I think both sides are complicit, although I think it is the left initiating this weird, and it is a Marxist thing where it's like this group, like this oppositional group thing, where it's like, we are now identifying as a class, as a collective based in X identity. And if you do not agree with the characteristics of that identity, then you hate me as a part of it. They can't separate themselves from the thing that they're doing or the immutable characteristic that defines them. So yeah, but no, you're absolutely right. I want people to be accepting of repentance with grace, and kindness and humility. And I think we've gotten a lot of people on the right now have gotten to the point where they're so interested in pointing out the bad that they're not willing to accept people coming back from it. So yeah, no, I agree. I entirely agree.
Hell yeah. I don't even need to say anything else to that. I actually might clip that completely separate from all this. I think that was actually a really good chunk. But anyway,
I just need coffee.
Yeah, I'm drinking like a fucking, what time is it? I'm drinking a 4.5 hour coffee right here. It's awful. So one of the things that you hear come up a lot in the like non-monogamy world is people will be like, oh, this doesn't affect you, so why do you care? So there are certain ideologies that kind of require buy-in. Yeah. It requires you to like accept their presuppositions for it to be valid, but it's possible that somebody could be non-monogamous, be in this like massive polycule, and you would be none the wiser if they didn't tell you. So if you don't know, why does it matter? Yeah,
I mean, you could just flip that back and be like, why does what I care about in my head, if that doesn't affect you, why do you care if I care? And you could just keep going down the line. But I mean, it depends what you mean by care. Am I going to go out there and try to stop people from engaging in non-monogamous, non-traditional relationships? No. You hear that all the time. I'm not going to try to prevent you. We need to distinguish between like culture, legality, and morality. But if we're just talking about general prescriptions for what people ought or ought not to do, the idea that you're not allowed to take a stance on that because it doesn't directly affect you is ridiculous. I mean, that would mean, we can't care about the Israel-Palestine thing. It doesn't really directly affect you. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many easy holes in that it's not a good argument. And if you do care about other people deeply enough, when you're talking, you might not be talking legally, you might not be talking in terms of like authority, like let me stop you, but you might be talking in terms of like culture or morality. Of course you should have a stance on what you think is good for people, generally speaking. So that would be my response to that.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I had a video a while back where I was talking about religion because I'm an agnostic, but like I used to teach Sunday school and shit like that. Like I got a big fucking religious tattoo on my ribs, and like when I talk to my mom and I's most common conversation is about the Bible and is about God. And I mean, she was here for like 4 or 5 days, probably at least like 50 hours total of that trip were her and I talking about religion. And the day that my mom stops trying to talk to me about religion, I'm going to be really upset because I'm going to go, fuck, my mom's not trying to save me anymore.
Yeah, so yeah. No, that's an important distinction. I mean, you have to understand that if people legitimately think that they're correct about what is good for you, then you want them to try to talk to you about that or encourage you to do that, even if you disagree. I mean, if I think that you're riding a tricycle off a cliff, you know what I mean? I should tell you that. I should be like, hey, I think that's So no, I think you're right, and we need to like acknowledge that just for the sake of honest conversation and just like point blank, here's what it is, debate or engagement. We need to acknowledge that distinction between if you agree with me about what is good versus if you think I am good for agreeing.
Hey there. For a video essay that expands on this conversation, check the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get back to it.
Recently, there's this one very depressing looking little weasel guy. He looks like a real life version of like a Ratatouille animation. This guy's fucking chopped. And he'll just stitch my video, and then whatever I'll say in the video, he'll replay a clip out of context where I said, and I quote, "Fuck the Civil Rights Act, repeal it yesterday. I don't care, ooga booga," some shit like that. And the reason I said that was entirely within the context. Like, I actually do think they should repeal it, but it's not evil. Like, I don't hate anybody. And the reason that you should repeal it is a whole different reason. But the reason I said that is in the context of talking about how people were saying, oh, well, Charlie Kirk had the wrong opinion on that as a justification to shoot him in the neck. So I'm like, fuck you. I'll say whatever I want about the Civil Rights Act. You don't get to shoot me. So it was like a weird like protest. It was an intentional like poetic thing. But then he'll just pull that out of context and be like, this is who you are. I'm like, okay, well, you're ugly. So fuck you anyway. I don't care.
Yeah. There's a really, really good clip of me that nobody has pulled out of context yet. And it's so funny. Dude, I'll point you straight toward it because it's incredible. What I'm talking about is this meme of like fitness is related to white supremacy, and I did this like big video essay that I'm really proud of. I'm actually going to migrate that over to my new channel because it's a really good video. But there's a part in it where I'm like, oh, it's as if people think that you're going to go to the gym, you're gonna like try to hit like an all-time PR, you're gonna fuck it up, and then someone's gonna go, you failed that rep because of minorities, right? And I just want that to be the fucking follow up to every single video. You failed that rep because of minorities, right?
Yeah, they were holding back your PR. Yeah,
it's just so
PR actually stands for Puerto Ricans. That's the problem.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So one of the other things that a lot of people will say with this is like, oh, somebody can have multiple foods that they like. They can have several children that they all love equally. Why does it matter if they've got multiple lovers?
Well, I think you can really only have one family. That would be the big thing, right? I think the majority, and you should really devote yourself exclusively to one family. So, I think the reason that people accept the multiple partners things, and historically it was acceptable for men a lot of the time, and I think that is. I mean, if you had to pick between women with multiple husbands or men with multiple wives, I mean, I think men with multiple wives is more sustainable. I mean, historically, it was that way for a reason. But I think the reason people embrace this is not because it's like actually like good. I mean, the only reason that you would have multiple partners instead of one person who you devote your exclusivity and effort and loyalty to is because you want to do that, right? And I think people accept the pain and the social ostracization and kind of the icky yucky just like intuitive grossness of it, because not that it's good, not that it provides extra value in their lives, it's as like a weird protest, a weird resentful protest to traditional relationships, and that's why the people who end up doing it always look like they're like rebelling against like God and society and stuff, is because it's a form of rebellion against the standard that I think they've grown sort of resentful of over time. And yeah, you can love multiple children, you can love multiple people, but like you shouldn't take your neighbor's child in as your own child. You know what I mean? You shouldn't love your aunt as much as your mother. So there's still like a hierarchy of relationships and the loyalty and devotion you should accord to them. if that makes sense.
Yeah, the hierarchy thing is really funny because then there's people who are engaged in like non-hierarchical polyamory where it's like or relationship anarchy is another one that I learned about. Where I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Well,
to some degree, it seems like they just want to name shit, you know?
yeah, I mean, there's always this naming. It's like, I'm polyamorous as an identity. It's like, okay, welcome to the human race. Everybody is capable of feeling romantic and sexual attraction to multiple people at once. Have you ever worked anywhere? Your coworker is always hot. Everybody likes their coworkers. You know that, right? I'm sorry, honey, I'm polyamorous now because Becky at the office is bad as fuck. No, it's just dumb. And the reason you don't see a lot of old poly couples because the pattern of behavior, couples, whatever, polycules, because the pattern of behavior is unsustainable. And it's not a really good basis for a society, too. There's too much jealousy. I think heterosexual, monogamous, childbearing, or at least oriented towards child making, in other words, heterosexual couples, are like the best basis for a functioning society. And I think we figured that out over years, and it's just kind of the proper pattern of behavior. And like you know, but there is a hierarchy and there's an order to your loves and affections of people. And I think that romantically, sexually, the proper way to do it is towards one person with a infinite commitment as a basis for not only your relationship with them, but a family and then a functioning society too.
If you've watched this far, you're exactly the kind of person that this show is for. The full episode, plus dozens of hours of exclusive podcasts, videos, vlogs, and our members only Discord are all available through the members only section on my main YouTube channel, Andrew Briggs, or on Patreon. The links are below. Here's a preview for the rest of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.
It flows from Hegel's absolute idealism, and its resentment I keep pointing to. Resentment is basically when you feel put upon, or you feel left out, excluded of, or excluded from, or incapable of attaining a higher value in a hierarchy or in a society than you can.
You know, I had a buddy who super like loud and boisterous and celebrating his divorce, and then once he was like finally on the other side of it, he's like, fuck, now I gotta like deal with this. If you saw really, really high rates of like marital success, or you saw improved child rearing, they're getting to better schools, they're committing less crime, they're doing anything like that. If all other things improved, but the fact remained that these people were in non-monogamous relationships, would that change your opinion on it to any degree?
People are bound by their cultural conditioning, and obviously what you believe to be normal is going to be. What we believe to be good is simply a product of our time and place. No, I think you can access it through reason. How does maximum sexual pleasure really fit into larger purposes?